We can hunt this! So Horizon Zero Dawn is the newest PlayStation 4 exclusive 3D action-adventure game that is made by Guerrilla Games. These are the guys that brought us all the Killzone games. And all I can say is, why the hell were you wasting your time on Killzone if you had a game like this in your repertoire? People, I'm not even going to waste any time. This game was badass. Horizon Zero Dawn tells the story of Aloy. This is about 1,000 years in the future. Humans are all but wiped out. Everybody's pretty much reverted back to being these little primal tribes and communities and little civilizations, and the Earth is roamed by these gigantic, basically robo-dinosaurs that are only referred to simply as the machines. Aloy is your main character in this, and when the story first starts out in Horizon Zero Dawn, due to the strange circumstances of her birth, she is automatically dubbed by birth as an outcast of the Nora tribe. She's given as a baby to this other outcast named Ross to be raised, and the basic story of this is more about Aloy's character and how she is trying to rise up out from being this outcast, to earn her place in the different tribes, to become a hero, to discover what the hell happened 1,000 years ago to wipe out humanity and bring on these machines. And as a really sinister threat starts to develop involving these machines and involving this corruption, trying to figure out where the hell this corruption came from, why it's here, what it wants, and ultimately defeat it to save all these tribes that once shunned you and didn't give you the time of day as an outcast. The biggest thing that I walk away really loving about Horizon Zero Dawn is the thing that I love about most of PlayStation's exclusives, and is the main reason why it's my favorite gaming console, because they really focus on story and on characters. And there's an incredible story and lots of really rich, interesting characters in Horizon Zero Dawn. There was not a moment, there was not a story beat, there was not a side mission or a main mission quest that I was not dying to find out what I was going to reveal at the end of that mission. Every single story beat and turn that Horizon Zero Dawn took, I was enthralled. From the beginning, just feeling like I'm an outcast just trying to earn my way into the tribe, and that's going to be the main storyline. And then you get into the tribe, and then you realize that the grander story is you trying to figure out the origin of the machines and what wiped out all the humans on Earth and what happened to what they call the old ones, the original humans. Every single time this game peels back the onion of its story and reveals more of a grander scope and a grander scheme and a grander idea that they're trying to go for, and it does that quite a few times. I was just enthralled at how amazing this story was. In most video games, whenever you get through the first little training mission or the first little opening credits, you get an idea of what the grand scope, the grand story of the game is going to be and where you're going to be following this path to the end of the game. And Horizon Zero Dawn is so deep and so rich and so expansive with what it decides to reveal to you slowly, and it does that quite a few times, that you're not going to get an idea for where you're going the first couple hours you play this game. In fact, until about 5 or 6 hours in, I had no idea what the hell was going on. I was just exploring everything because this world is just so expansive and there is so many things you can do. And part of the reason why you're so enthralled with this story and you just dive headfirst into it once you start Horizon Zero Dawn is because of your main character, Aloy. She is one of the best female protagonists in a video game that I have seen in a long time. I would even go as far as to say that she rivals Tomb Raider. And while you will meet a lot of really interesting side characters throughout your time in Horizon Zero Dawn, especially Ross, the guy that raises you in the first portion of this game, one character that I was just fascinated by was Silence.
You've come a long way since the Citadel, Aloy.
Who are you?
An interested party.
He comes in about halfway through the game, maybe a little bit before that, and he's played by the great Lance Reddick, for those of you who know from Colonel Boyles, from Fringe, and he was also the front desk guy at all the Continental hotels and the John Wick movies. I love that actor, and I loved that character. When he first comes on, he reminded me a lot of Gray Fox from the original Metal Gear Solid, where he's just kind of like this voice in your ear, and he's mysterious. You don't know if he's on your side, you don't know if he's going to be against you at some point, and he kind of has that dynamic throughout the entire last half to 2/3 of this game. You don't know if this guy is leading you in the right direction, if he's leading you to your doom, if he's got some ulterior motive, and he was just such an interesting character, and he paired really well with Aloy, and they have a great dynamic back and forth. And if that awesome post-credit scene had any indication of where the series is going and further sequels, I can't wait to see more out of this guy. The gameplay is great in Horizon Zero Dawn as well. It's your typical kind of 3D action-adventure survival game. You got a lot of hunting. Your main weapon is a bow and arrow. You have a lot of side quests that involve, like, go over here and talk to this person, or go find this person he's missing, or go hunt this rare beast. If I had to pick a game that's probably most similar to it, would be one of the Assassin's Creed games, but it's a lot deeper and a lot more fun than Assassin's Creed to me. There's just a lot of similarities as far as the way the side quests go. Even to the point where whenever you want to expand and kind of unveil different different parts of your map to show more of what's going on. You have to climb these gigantic beasts called tall necks, and it's very similar in Assassin's Creed when you have to climb the towers and swan dive off into those little barrels of hay. That was the only really main similarity I found from Assassin's Creed. And speaking of the tall necks, does that not look like the USS Enterprise on 4 legs? I could not get that out of my head. But unlike Assassin's Creed and a lot of the games like it, the story missions and the side missions in Horizon Zero Dawn are a lot more rewarding as far as the story. You do have a lot of small missions, what they call errands in this, that are kind of boring and they're kind of this repetitive after a while, where, okay, go pick out this rare flower and bring it back to me. Oh, go across the map and save that guy and come back and tell me he's okay. Things that you see in any game of this type. But there's a lot of those that you have the complete option to go do. You don't have to spend the entire gameplay doing that. But the side missions and the main quests are so interesting and so different, and they give you these all different characters that you have to kind of interact with and you have to learn about and you have to develop this relationship with, that you're really interested in doing those. You're really interested in pursuing the side quests instead of just kind of charging through all the main quests to get to the end of the game and be done with it. You want to spend more time in Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, speaking on the machines, these robotic dinosaurs, they are awesome enemies. There is a ton of variety in these machines. You get ones that are like pterodactyls, you get ones that are kind of like the herbivores, like deers and elks and rhinos, and then you have ones that are like crocodiles, and then you get into these big badass machines that are like tyrannosauruses called thunderjaws. You uncover some really old machinery that is just sinister called deathbringers, and it's just crazy the variety of machines that they have in Horizon Zero Dawn, and it really encourages you to not only take them down and develop your skills and develop your equipment to the point where you can take down these big machines like the Thunderjaws and the Corruptors, but you want to go out and you want to hunt. You don't even want to bother with the mission sometimes. You just want to go out and see how badass you are and see what you can kill and what little scrap metal you can bring off of these machines to build better things later on. And each of these different species require you to think and come up with a different strategy for each time that you engage them. Some of them might have some environmental weaknesses like fire or electricity. You also have certain species that you'll encounter, like the bigger, badder ones in the later ends of the game, like the Thunderjaw, that have such gigantic chunks of armor, or they'll have machine guns or lasers or radars or rocket launchers and all these different little weapon components, and you have an armor breaking arrow where you can launch it and take off that armor and blow off those different little armor components and all these different weapons that these machines have to not only make them less of a threat to you physically while you figure out how to take them down, but it lets you figure out what the weakness is and where you have to attack them to bring them down. And it always keeps the gameplay fresh. With each different machine that you encounter, it's never the same strategy.
Vulnerable to fire. Here we go.
And that's one of the biggest strengths of Horizon Zero Dawn, because there's so many games, and we've all played them, where you just defeat the same enemy over and over and over again. And if the objective of the mission itself is not interesting, you're just bored after a while and it gets very repetitive. But the way that they have the different species and the way that they have them spread out throughout this entire huge world in Horizon Zero Dawn just keeps you interested, keeps you playing, and it keeps the gameplay fresh. I really like the crafting aspects of this game too. All around the world you find like little pieces of wood, or you find certain plants or certain elements that you use to create your arrows and create your various weapons. It's really easy to collect everything. It's really easy to craft items on the go right in the middle of battle, so that's really seamless. Now, with all that being said, despite all the awesome things that Horizon Zero Dawn does, despite all the species, despite all the great missions, the stories, the wonderful characters, it's not a perfect game. There's a couple small issues that I do have with it. As far as technical issues, the face mapping whenever you're having conversations is really bad in this game. There is not a single cutscene in this where I did not see the mouth moving and not hear audio behind it, or I hear audio and the mouth is just not matching up. They did a really bad job with that.
What do you mean, a demon?
It scuttled from the forest. Drove a group of watchers mad.
How'd it do that?
I saw, but I did not understand.
So that to me is really surprising. Like the first couple times I saw it, I thought maybe it was just a small glitch or something that was going to work out its way later on. No, the entirety of this game, I almost didn't even pay attention to some of the cutscenes because it was so awkward watching the mouth that it was weird. This isn't really a negative for me personally, because I actually appreciate when a game does this, but it's going to be a negative for a lot of people. The game does not explain a lot of the elements of the gameplay. It doesn't really hold your hand. It kind of borrows a lot of that from the Dark Souls games and from games like Bloodborne, where it kind of inserts you, gives you enough to get started, and then you have to kind of figure things out yourself. And you might go through the entirety of this game and not realize some of the things that you're able to do, or some of the things that might have helped you throughout your journey as Aloy, and that's going to be frustrating for a lot of people. For me, on the other hand, I actually appreciated kind of uncovering those things. And as far as the story, the one negative I have with the story is there is a major reveal involving the origin of your character Aloy and kind of the identity of her mother that's basically the main storyline, kind of guiding her character throughout the beginning all the way through the end. And they try to do this big plot twist in it, or at least I assume they meant it to be a twist. For me, they telegraphed it way too much, because as soon as they really first started hinting at it, I knew immediately where the game was going to end up as far as that aspect of the story. But that wasn't really a huge negative as far as my experience throughout the story, because there's so much going on in the story of Horizon Zero Dawn and the story of the journey of Aloy and all the different little tribes and civilizations that you interact with, that there was so much more to gain from this. There was so much more to take away from the story that one little negative didn't impact it so much. But it was a big cornerstone of her journey, so it is a negative. So to wrap all this up, guys, Horizon Zero Dawn is absolutely worth your attention, and it is worth a ton of hours of gameplay. You're going to have a blast hunting all these different robotic monsters and these machines. You're going to have a blast uncovering all the multiple things this story has in store for you, and you have a great central character at the center of it all in Aloy. Now, with all that being said, what better time to unveil my new and permanent rating system for my video game reviews. When I first started this channel, I tried to use the same rating system as my movie reviews. It was a little confusing, didn't quite fit. Tried to go to the number system with my Resident Evil review. Didn't really like the way that turned out. So now, the new rating system for my video game reviews as follows. When a game completely sucks and you don't want to spend another second playing that piece of shit, it's getting the rating of Rage Quit. When it's got a couple of good hours in it, you might have a little bit of fun, but you're not going to go back to it more than a couple of times. That's going to be your trade-in. When you play a game that's actually pretty good, it's kind of fun. You got a little bit of enjoyment out of it, but nothing spectacular. I might tell a friend about it. Then you get that rare gem, that game that sucks you in, you can't stop playing it, you want to dedicate hours and hours to it, you might even pull an all-nighter. Then the cream of the crop, the game that takes away all of your responsibilities, that puts the blinders on, makes you forget anything else that's going on in the world. To hell with responsibilities, you're going to call out from work to play it. So Horizon Zero Dawn has the honor and the privilege of being the first game on my new system to receive the rating of call out from work. So what did you guys think of Horizon Zero Dawn? Did you get a chance to make it to the end of the game? Are you satisfied with the way that the story wrapped up? What do you think of Aloy? What an awesome character that she is. And how badass was it taking down those numerous species of robo-monsters called the Machines, especially that damn Thunderjaw? Put all of your comments and all of your thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn down in the comment section below, and we'll talk about it. Please like and share this video, and hit that subscribe button. That way you get to come back and see me next time. But if that's not soon enough to check out some more of my videos, you can check out a few more by clicking right over here.